Yep. All right, so here we go, wonderful people. Solving quadratic equations using zero properties. That is the title for your page 9 notes. You're going to take page 9 and divide it into 9 6 boxes. Always keep it on the 7 piece of paper and then glue it on page 9 later. Or just count up to 9.
Alright, I'll do it.
Alright, so that everyone got the title down? Yep. Solving quadratic equations using zero property. That is our title. All right. So for my visual learners, this is what 6 boxes look like. Each slide is going to tell you when we move from box to box, okay? So hopefully no one will ask, Miss, what box are we on? Because it tells you on the slide.
Are the boxes just for organization?
It's just for organization. All right, so in our first box, we have zero product property, okay? What the zero product property is telling us is that if AB equals 0, then either A equals 0 or B equals 0. Does that make sense? One of the factors has to be a 0 in order for it to be true. Let's write in purple. Oh, can't do that here. I'll write in red. So zero product property. So for example, if I had 2x equals 0, obviously x has to be what? X has to be 0. So x equals 0. Because one of them has to be 0 in order for it to be true. So with our factors, what this is telling us is that we can have up to 2 answers for our quadratic equations. And when I factor them out, if I have x minus a times x minus b equal to 0, then to solve for those, I'm going to take the first factor, x minus a, instead equal to 0, and the second factor, x minus b, instead equal to 0. That is what our zero product property is wanting us to do. All right. Remember, if for some reason you feel like you miss out on notes or you missed something, you can always go check your Google Classroom.
No, all the notes are in the classroom too.
Aren't they been there since the beginning of November? We started Google Classroom. Yes.
It feels like a really long time.
It is. The people still won't use it.
I use it, it's just not all the time.
Oh, make sure you check your Google Classroom because your homework assignment for the week on Google Classroom was posted.
Oh, that's what the kids were talking about. What's due Saturday?
It's due Friday at 11:59 p.m.
To them, Saturday.
How? Then it's not going to be open.
Everybody said Saturday for some reason.
I don't think they know how time works then.
11:59 is Friday. Yeah.
11:59 is Friday.
Too many people said Saturday.
You've been warned. It says 11:59 p.m., which still makes it Friday. All right. In box 2, you're going to put your steps to solve. So our steps to solve. 1, we're going to rewrite in standard form. ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. 2, we're going to factor the quadratic expression. So that's why we've been learning factoring for a week now, because you need that skill. 3, we're going to use the zero product property. 4, we're going to solve for x. And then 5, we're going to plug our answers into the original problem. So remember, when you're writing down steps, you want to write them so that you understand what you're writing. So that means paraphrasing, using symbols, however you choose to. Like for me, my step 1, I would just write ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Step 1. Step 2, factor. Step 3, equals 0. Step 4, x. As you can see, I'm a minimalist when I take notes. Any questions about the 5 steps so far? Do they seem doable? Very much so, right? All right, so we're going to actually apply our 5 steps and see where we go. Got it? So we're going to apply the 5 steps. So in box 3, you're going to write example 1. So we have x squared minus 24x plus 144. You're going to write that down. And we're going to go through the 5 steps. Okay. What is our step uno? Step 1 tells us to do what?
Write in standard form, but it's already.
Write in standard form. So step 1 is good to go, right?
Yep.
Step 2 tells us factor. So we are going to factor here. It's a simple trinomial, right? So when we factor, we're just asking what is the product of 144 and what is the sum of negative 24.
Negative 12 and negative 12.
Perfect. So we're going to have x minus 12 and x minus 12 equal to 0. So my product is 144. My sum was negative 24. So those are my factors. How do we feel?
Good.
Good? All right. 3. Step 3 is telling us to use our zero product property. So the zero product property is saying that we're going to take each factor and set it equal to 0. But is it really necessary to write x minus 12 equals 0 twice? No. No. So we're going to just write it one time. All right.
X is 12.
There you go. Step 4 says we solve for x. What would I need to do to solve for x? Add 12 both sides. And we get x equals 12. And if I'm not sure of myself, then I would take this answer that I got and I would plug it back into the original. So I'm like, I don't know if I did that right. So I'm going to take my answer and plug it in. 12 squared minus 24 times 12 plus 144. If I'm right, then I should get 0. If I'm wrong, then I get something else. So I have 144 minus 288 plus 144. That gives me negative 144 plus 144, and that equals 0. Oh my gosh, we're so smart, we did it. Our answer is 12. How do you feel about a simple trinomial? Doable?
Yeah.
Turning?
Well,
Yeah, simple's good. All right, here's your simple one to try. Are you ready to do yours? I thought it was good to go. So step 1, standard form check. Step 2, my product is 16, my sum is x minus 2 equals 0. So the zero product property tells me I'm going to take x minus 8 and set it equal to 0. And I'm going to take x minus 2 and set it equal to 0. So then step 4 says to solve. So what are my possible answers?
2 or 8.
2 or 8, because I would add 8.
I get it.
So I get x equals 8. I would add 2. And I would get x equals 2. And those would be my 2 answers. And if I wasn't comfortable with my answers, I would take them and I would plug them individually. So if I wanted to, I'm like, I believe 2, but I don't know about this 8 business. So on step 5, I would go in and plug in 8. And if I plug in 8 and get 0, then I know I did it right. So I have 64 minus 80 plus 16 gives me negative 16 plus 16, which equals 0. Is that what I needed? Yes. So that lets me know that I did do it right. And if I was uncomfortable with 2, then I would repeat the same process with 2. Does that make sense? All right. No, it's just that these are both your answers. Yeah, they're both your answers. All right. Example 3. So for example 3, we have 2x squared plus x plus equals 15. And unlike the other ones, 1 is not in standard form, and it's not a simple trinomial. The reason why it's not simple is because my leading coefficient is not a 1. It's actually greater than 1. So first thing I gotta do is get it into standard form. And what's the only thing I need to do? Subtract the 15. Move the 15. So I have minus 15, and that gives me 2x squared plus x minus 15 equals 0. Now I'm good to go, right? So since I'm not simple, I'm now asking myself to find my product. I actually have to multiply my A coefficient and my C coefficient, right? So what's 2 times negative 15? Negative 30. So my product needs to be negative 30, and my sum needs to be my B, and if there's nothing there, then there's cast to the friendly 1. So my sum is 1. So what two numbers multiply to give me negative 30, but add to give me uno?
6 and negative 5.
6 and negative 5. So you have a choice. How many people in by hand are people who use the box method? Box. And then everyone, boxes rule. Okay, we'll do box. So using the box method, we have 2x squared, we have negative 15, and we said, what were our magic numbers? Positive 6 and negative 5. So when you're doing the box method, what you're asking yourself is, what's the greatest common factor of each row and each column? So this row, first row, what's the greatest common factor? 2x. Second row?
5.
Negative 5, right? GCF of the first column. And then the GCF of our last column. What kind of 3? Positive 3. So therefore our factors are, so we have x plus 3 times 2x minus 5 equals 0. So that's step 2. We have completely factored.
Oh, that's only step 2?
We wrote the steps. We're almost done. Everything else goes pretty quickly after factoring. What's step 3? Solve. So in step 3, I'm going to solve. So I have x plus 3 equals 0, and I have 2x minus 5 equals 0. Solving x plus 3 is pretty quick and easy, right? So what would I need to do on that one? So we have x equals negative 3. Done. And then what would I need to do to solve 2x minus 5? I'm going to add 5, and then I'm going to do what? Divide by 2. Perfect. So I add 5. So I have 2x equals 5. Divide by 2. So my other choices. And we want to leave it in fraction unless otherwise asked. And if I wasn't confident, then there's always step 5 that says, hey, plug it and check. So again, the thing here is how you choose to do step 2 is up to you. Box, X, grouping, whatever other little trick of the trade that you've learned. Okay? All right, so you're going to do the last box, which is box 6. And here's your example for that one. You have 2x squared equals negative 5x plus 12. You want your leading coefficient to always be positive. So do not move the leading if it's positive. Move things towards it. The bell's gonna probably ring on us. But the first thing you should have done is what? And then you should see what's up there. Step 2, you're looking at product and sum.
Would be negative 24.
-24, your sum would be 5. I'll do grouping on this one. You guys can go. I'm going to keep going. And so we have 8x and 3x. Grouping. And that gives me 2x. X plus 4 gives me -3. X plus 4 gives me x plus 4.
Go here.
And 2x minus 3. That's what it should have came down to.
Then is it x equals -4, x equals 2 over 3?
X equals 3 over 2?
2 over 3.
3 over 2?
Oh, what do you add is 0.
I was going to let you catch on to that. And then we have 2x minus 3 equals 0. And when we solve, we get x equals -4. And we get x equals 3 halves. And again, if I didn't believe myself, then I would do what? Plug in and check. All right.